And to talk more about China's air pollution and efforts to clean it up, Ma Tianjie joins us live from Beijing. He's managing editor of China Dialogue and formerly worked for Greenpeace. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
You know, as we mentioned, government officials are currently conducting these pollution inspections in various cities. What kind of impact do you think their visits will have?
Well, I think this kind of inspections are crucial to the implementation of China's measures to reduce air pollution, because I think nowadays there's an increasing realization that the reluctance of local officials to fully enforce some of the tough measures, such as cutting overcapacity and installing and reporting accurate monitoring data, are affecting China's efforts to fight air pollution. So I think there has been a range of measures being devised to try to push the local governments and local officials to take into account the environmental cost of developments and fully enforce and implement the measures of fighting air pollution.
We know that right now scientists have been busy working on newer cutting-edge air filters, air purifiers. What have you heard about that's currently in the works that seems most promising to you?
Well, there are a range of technologies being used. For example, schools in China nowadays across the country are looking at purifying systems that can protect students from exposure to hazardous air pollution on those polluting days. But I would like to emphasize that these are definitely short-term solutions. They will have beneficial effects in the short term, and also to maybe a level of income, people with a certain level of income. And so I think our emphasis should always be on reducing air pollution and lowering air pollution across the board by more fundamental changes in the energy structure, for example, of China, and by moving to cleaner energy sources.
Well, that being said, let's take a wider look, because the U.S. climate change policy is still very uncertain. That could change under President Trump. Do you think China's efforts to tackle this issue globally could become more important, especially if the United States pulls out of the Paris Agreement?
Exactly. I think in this new situation where we have a U.S. administration that is at least skeptical of climate change, China's effort, China's promise to stick to the Paris Agreement, as President Xi Jinping mentioned at his Davos speech, would be crucial to support and help the world that maintaining this trajectory towards a low-carbon future. I think exactly because this kind of air pollution situation in China, people here understand the urgency of moving the country away from dirty energy sources such as coal and invest heavily into cleaner energy sources such as renewables.
All right, Ma Tianjie, thank you so much for joining us from Beijing.